I just want you to know.
I love you, Mummy and Daddy.
I know you do, sweetheart. And I'm going to ask you to take the filter off. Will you do that for me?
I think I've been uncomfortable for a very long time.
We know.
I've been thinking ever since I was born that I don't belong in this body. Oh my God.
It's all right.
It's really okay, darling.
I've been reading up on it. And I think I'm trans.
Oh, sweetheart. Oh, it's all right, darling. I swear.
It really is. Now look at us, we're fine. We're completely fine, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
And I know we might be a bit slow and a bit old, and this is going to be confusing for us, and we'll make a mess of it sometimes, but we love you. Hmm?
We love you. We absolutely love you. We always will. I mean, we don't need to rush. We've got lots of time to talk about this.
And if it turns out that we've got a lovely son instead of a lovely daughter, then we'll be happy.
No, I'm not transsexual.
Oh,
Is that not the word now?
but you said trans.
What did we call you then?
I'm not transsexual. I'm transhuman.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, they keep changing the words. I don't know the difference.
I don't want to change sex.
No, sure. We say gender now, don't we? I'm sorry.
I said I'm not comfortable with my body, so I want to get rid of it. This thing, all the arms and legs and every single bit of it. I don't want to be flesh. I'm really sorry, but I'm going to escape this thing and become digital.
What do you mean?
They say one day, soon, they'll have clinics in Switzerland where you can go and you'll sign a form and they'll take your brain and download it into the cloud.
And your body?
Recycled into the earth.
So you want to kill yourself?
I want to live forever as information because that's what transhumans are, Mum. Not male or female, better. Where I'm going, there's no life or death. There's only data. I will be data.
Transhumanism is the idea that man is merging with technology. And Marvin Minsky asked the question, will robots inherit the earth? And he says, yes, they will, but they will be our children. Transhumanism is a term used for a broad range of ideas that technology is greatly enhancing human capabilities. This means everything from bionic limbs, brain implants, artificial intelligence, to even someday uploading our minds to the internet. And we have already a symbiotic relationship with our technology. And in that sense, we're already transhuman. And I'm sure many of you here today brought your smartphones with you. But transhumanism is the future of connectedness. It is technology as an extension of ourselves. Now, wearables are widely believed to be the next big thing. And the concept of wearables isn't a new idea. For thousands of years, there have been tattoos and piercings and jewelry. And it symbolizes who we are and where we come from. I'm sure many of you may have, fitness trackers that you wear already. But in the near future, your family, your friends will have computers embedded into their clothing, in addition to their wrists and their glasses. But further along the wearable continuum will be things like embeddables, like small sensors that are placed underneath your skin. And as technology becomes smaller, cheaper, and more powerful, 50 billion devices will be connected over the next decade. And the internet will be more like a utility, like electricity. It'll be something you plug into. And this invisible force will connect all of these fragmented systems, becoming a digital nervous system for the planet that you, me, everything we interact with will become a part of. So if that wasn't weird enough for you, Body 2.0 will include artificial eyes with zoom capabilities, infrared sensors, and night vision will be possible. And the prosthetic limbs of the future will be even more flexible and powerful than our original organic limbs that we have today. Retinal implants in a few years will allow the blind to see and recognize faces. And there are already arms that are controlled by human thought using a small implant in the brain. And if you think Inception was just a movie, MIT scientists have implanted memories into mice. They've isolated an individual memory in a mouse's brain and induced recall of that memory by forcing those neurons to fire. And researchers have also been able to pinpoint memories and erase them, eliminating them without affecting other memories. So in the future, it may be possible to remove or implant memories and even treating things like dementia, Alzheimer's, post-traumatic stress, or personal traumas, or other types of neurological disorders. And Michio Kaku describes brain implants as your very own augmented mind. And this is the beginning of the brain net, a possible successor to the internet, a form of virtual telepathy that will allow you to create music, drive a car, communicate with other people, and even surf the web at the speed of thought. Movies will no longer be these two-dimensional slate tablets that you look into and blast sound at you. They'll be fully immersive experiences, complete with feeling and emotion the way the director originally intended. Everything is stored, every memory recorded, and available on a cloud service. And mind uploading will allow your friends to share their digital vacation experiences that never actually took place. It all just happened in their mind, similar to Total Recall. I realize that this may seem far-fetched in science fiction, and that some of these ideas maybe are a bit spooky. And that's simply human nature. And there are certainly ethical and moral dilemmas that we'll face as we go through this process. A recent survey reports that 72% of the US population is not interested in brain implants. About 53% think that it's probably a change for the worse, even if it could augment memories or increase our mental capacities. But that all changes with the children of today. Some call them digital natives. This is my son. And to him and his generation, anything that isn't computerized, digital, or touch-enabled will seem unnatural. To them, the smartphone is already an extension of their brain. To them, the smartphone and mind uploading powered exoskeletons will be just a part of life. And transhumanism will seem just as natural as evolution, and anyone who doesn't follow suit will seem thoroughly inhuman.
In a world where technology improves every second, I meet a group of people who believe that technology and humanity should combine.
We can do more than what we're currently capable of.
I speak to those at the beginnings of their journey,
that I am slowly turning myself into a part machine.
and those who have taken their evolution into their own hands.
Oh, the thing in her arm was very scary.
But I do think it's also quite frightening.
This is my journey into the world of transhumanism. My journey started when I decided to look into the world of transhumanism. I was given access to a forum and I was shocked to find people upgrading themselves from home using equipment that they bought from various websites. One of the website's dangerous things came with this warning attached to its products. These kits definitely contain dangerous things. While the transponder devices contained within the Cyborg Transformation Kit have undergone several quality checks during manufacturing and have been put through a battery of tests with various private labs, they have not been tested or certified by any government regulatory agency for implantation or use inside the human body. Use of these devices is strictly at your own risk. I wondered if there was anyone who does implement these devices for people. The most popular and most well known by far is a girl called Genova Rain. Genova Rain is a transhumanist, a biohacker, and she says she does 5 of these a week, but that number is rising rapidly. She's definitely someone that we should be going to speak to. We arrived in Leicester. We came to meet Stephen, who was on his way to get chipped by Genova Rain. All right. You got here then?
Yeah, finally.
Good to meet you. Nice to see you. How are you?
Not bad, how are you?
You're good. How was your trip?
It was alright.
Thanks.
Very long.
Thanks for coming and meeting us. I appreciate it. What have you come for?
I've come to get a microchip implanted into my hand.
And why?
Well, there's lots of reasons why. The main reason, I guess, is to evolve with the world.
Talk to me about transhumanism.
I like the idea of transhumanism because transhumanism is the idea that you can evolve and you can engineer your way into the future, I guess. You know, if I want to develop my own tech, then why not develop my own tech that can respond to my biology?
What's this going to do that you're getting done today?
Log me into my computer, open locks for me, open my front door, I can open my car and things like that. Hopefully in the future I'll be able to pay for things. I wouldn't see it as me trying to make myself better. I don't mind being biological, you know, but if I can be part mechanical, I just think that's so much more awesome. You know, look how many people die of horrific disease every year, and yet they pray every day. It's just no use. You know, but we have created medicine. We can engineer our way out of our problems.
You're quite passionate about that.
Extremely passionate. Absolutely.
You're quite passionate about this, aren't you? Yeah. So is this the beginning for you of... Is today like your technological baptism?
That is a fantastic way to put it. Yes. Yes, this is like the step that I can take.
Into?
The future.
Stephen's views on upgrading himself were intriguing, and the time had come for him to get his first chip implanted by Genova Rain.
Time to get chipped.
She did all of her procedures from a small studio above a post office.
This is how we are making ourselves human plus, is what we call it. We're better than being human. We're advancing ourselves to have more than what we were born with, more than what we were given with. We can do more than what we're currently capable of. So just relax your breathing. Take a nice big breath in. Amazing. Cool, that is one. Did you feel much of that?
I did feel that. There's a fair little pinch there.
Okay, so you did not react at all.
No.
Amazing.
It wasn't so bad. Before I was a transhumanist in theory, but now I'm a transhumanist in practice. I really have done it now, taken that first step.
More people came to get chipped throughout the day, one of whom was Winter. Her reasons for believing in transhumanism were more out of necessity than desire.
Well, the first cyber enhancements I had weren't voluntary. They were through the hospital because I was in a very bad car accident that fractured my back in multiple places, both my ankles and both my knees. I have in my left hand an RFID chip, that's my door key. In my right hand, I have an NFC chip. That is my business card. In the middle of my right finger, I have a magnet that lets me sense EM fields. I have the contraceptive implant, a 3D printed kneecap, and now 2 LED implants. If I travel, I have a near autoimmune disease, so I'm allergic to the world and everything in it. You know, fruit, veg, grass, pollen. Somebody sneezes in China, I'm gonna get sick. I have the worst immune system. And I've had a lot of medical procedures. It's just proactive versus reactive. Instead of waiting until I'm hurt, and then getting something medically done to me, I can do something that stops me from getting hurt in the first place. Say I'm surfing off the coast of Spain, and I trip and fall and smack my head in the water, and I'm knocked out. Well, the paramedics can get me. I could be completely knocked out and unconscious. They don't know anything about me. They don't know my name. They don't know my blood type, none of that. Well, I've got a medical ID bracelet that I wear that says Medical Implant NFC Scan Finger Webbing. They can tap my hand then to that, and it'll pop up with a webpage I've made that has all of my medical history and my doctor's name if they need to talk to it. So say I go coma, it's also got a link to my will on there. You know, it's got everything in there. So I'm not, oh, Jane Doe in some hospital. It has all of this stuff.
After a busy day of chipping her clients, I finally had the chance to catch up with Genova Rain.
What chips do you have?
Literally none.
You've got none?
How controversial is that?
That's very interesting.
Is it not?
Why?
I kind of kept it that way to make it interesting. The functionality that we have right now, it's for passwords and keys and starting your car and entry into your house or entry into your workplace. My workplace is here. We can't fit an RFID lock downstairs.
I know, but it's quite interesting that you are promoting it in a manner, yet you don't have them yourself.
For me, totally useless.
So we've worked out you're the chipper and not the chippy then.
I'm the biohacker and not the biohacky. That's the one, yeah.
But do you think there needs to be more regulation for this?
Definitely, yes. As far as I know, there's currently very little specific bylaws for this at all. For example, if you read through any of the tattoo and piercing bylaws online, they are talking about sharps, they're talking about waste disposal, all of which is exactly relevant to this, but at no point in that is the term biohacking actually specifically mentioned. So I would imagine at some point there'll be an update to that specific legislation, simply just to include that term, because everything else for this is already relevant for piercing, tattooing, needles, waste disposal.
Is there more and more people now kind of...
Oh, definitely. I started this about 7 or 8 years ago. It was just basic microchips back then, not a huge amount of functionality, but it was more for people who just wanted to be a bit cool, a bit original, have something different. Now that there is more functionality, definitely seen an increase. And I do have to definitely give my respect for anyone that has done this on themselves, especially in the lead up to where we are now, because they were the pioneers. And without people having any interest in doing this on themselves in the first place, I probably wouldn't have this as my job right now at all.
But doctors would shoot you down for that.
Yes.
And quite rightly, some would say.
I guess so, yes.
Who's the greatest person then that's done that?
Probably the most well-known person for having experimented on themselves is Left Anonym, for sure.
We travelled to Birmingham to meet biohacking cult hero Left Anonym. Left started off experimenting with smaller items such as chips in her hands, but has become a human test subject. She currently has a huge data storage prototype device in her arm.
It sounds a lot more painful than it actually is.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people don't have drawers full of this in their house. Like, my mum had like a celebration box that was actually medicine supplies.
Yeah.
But this is a drawer full of...
This is a drawer full of actual... Oh, this is lidocaine. Well, actually, this is xylocaine, but it's anesthetic. And like, this is liquid gold as far as I'm concerned, because this was almost impossible to get in the UK for a long time. And a big old vial of it like that is enough for a huge procedure. Like, that's all I'll need for a long time.
Where did you get that from?
Various places.
Are you allowed that?
I don't know. Probably not, but...
If you don't feel comfortable on that answer your question, you don't have to.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't say where I got it from, but it is useful to have it. So, the first time I ever did an operation in 2006, it did get super infected. I'm just a widow that does experiments by themselves.
Yeah, but you say that, but you're someone who's kind of encouraged a lot of other people.
I hope so, yeah. Like I said, when I started...
Some people might say that's not a good thing.
Some people might not. I'm not entirely sure myself whether it's a good thing or not, but as far as I'm concerned, knowledge should be spread to as many people as possible. Like, I believe in information freedom, and I also believe in bodily autonomy. I believe that everyone has the right to try and do whatever they want with their own body, so long as it harms no one else.
Do you ever feel like maybe because you're so willing to go through with stuff on yourself, you might be taken advantage of a little bit?
I don't think so. Like, in general, we're all very... what's the word? Cooperative. So everyone more or less knows what everyone else is doing. Everyone sort of tends to work together. So like I don't feel like there would be anyone in the community that would take advantage. Does that make sense?
Left's boyfriend Paul was also present. He and Left became an item whilst he was making a documentary about her. But what did he think about Left's biohacking ways, and how concerned was he when it came to Left's experiments?
Can I ask, do you ever worry?
Yeah. There's always going to be risks involved, and generally I'm okay with it because a lot of the time, sometimes I'm there and she's with biohackers who have medical knowledge and there is safety in place. It's never a case of, okay people, let's turn this into a party, scalpels out, everyone hack away. Oh, the thing in her arm was very scary.
Do you ever worry as a day it will go too far?
Of course. And I have said, you got to be careful with this stuff. And when I do hear about the next big project, I think, how can that go bad? It is an amateur scene, but there is science and medicine behind it.
Not everyone thinks like the biohacking enthusiasts. Back in Glasgow, Dr. Mary Ford-Neal, an expert in medical ethics, says the bodily autonomy that Left spoke about has always been limited by the state, and she had concerns after seeing our film.
The idea of people doing it to themselves is something that scares me because it is invasive. Some of the procedures seem to be more invasive than others, but all of them involve an intrusion on the human body, and that's something that should probably always be done by someone with expertise and the ability to deal with any complications that arise. So I think the fears that I would have around this kind of individual level biohacking practice would be safety concerns rather than ethical concerns, although were it to become widespread, were it to become mainstream, I think I would have deeper ethical concerns about that too.
A journey that started as an idea had turned into an eye-opening experience. My time with the transhumanists had come to a close. Whether out of desire or necessity, they had opened my eyes to a world that I previously believed was a myth. But many questions remain unanswered about this unregulated practice. And as technology continues to develop, just how connected will we become to it?
I think we still know so little about what it means to be human that the confidence with which we think we can upload ourselves to silicon or recreate ourselves with algorithms is shocking to me. The only ones out there who think they know what human consciousness is are computer engineers. If you talk to actual brain researchers and neuroscientists, they say we're nowhere close. We don't even know for sure what goes on in a single square centimeter of soil. We're still trying to teach agriculture companies that the soil is alive, that it's not just dirt that you can put chemicals on. It's a living matrix. If we don't even know what a single centimeter of soil is, how do we know what the human brain is? We don't. We don't know what the source of consciousness is. We don't know where we come from. We don't even know if there's a meaning to this universe or not. Yet we think that we can make a simulation that's as valid as this. Every simulation we make misses something. Think about the difference between being in a jazz club and listening to a great CD. There's a difference. And some of those differences we understand and some of them we don't. So when I see people rushing off to upload consciousness to a chip, it feels more like escape from humanity than it is a journey forward. And I get it. Life is scary. Women, real life women are scary. The people are scary. The moisture is scary. Death is scary. Babies are scary. other people who don't speak the same language or have the same customs. They're scary. All sorts of stuff is scary. And I understand the idea of this kind of having a Sim City perfected simulation that I can go into and not have to worry about all that stuff I don't know, where everything is discrete, everything is a yes, no, this, that, all the choices have been made. There's a certain attractiveness to that, but that's dead. It's not alive. There's no wonder. There's no awe. There's nothing strange and liminal and ambiguous about it. I was on a panel with a famous transhumanist, and he was arguing that it's time that human beings come to accept that we will have to pass the torch of evolution to our digital successors, and that once computers have the singularity and they're really thinking and better than us, then we should really only stick around as long as the computers need us, you know, to keep the lights on and oil their little circuits or whatever we have to do, and then after that, fade into oblivion. And this desire to transcend the human, I feel like it's excusing a whole lot of behaviors. It's excusing a whole lot of dehumanization. It makes it easier to send kids into caves to get rare earth metals for your phone. It makes it easier to create toxic waste everywhere. It makes it easier for you to think of the human timeline as having a beginning, middle, and an end because we're going to transcend it. And that's a sick Western, neoliberal, growth-based, apocalyptic myth that could very well end our species, but really, I would say to the detriment of our little universe.